Good morning, and first I would like to thank the IP kasi talagang naghahanap kami lagi ng forum para ipakalat namin yung mga impormasyon about knifefish and also yung mga ginagawa ng Bureau of Fisheries in partnership with other agencies. Kasi hindi lang po BIFAR at saka LLDA ngayon ang kumikilos against knifefish. Meron na po kaming partnership with other agencies ng government para po pagtulong-tulungan itong problema sa knifefish. So can I have you? So actually, yung knifefish is not indigenous sa Philippines. Ito ay isang invasive alien species na naturally occurring dun sa mga swamplands dito sa Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, kahit kami lang tayo dun sa Southeast Asia, hindi ito naging natural na fish dun sa ating natural bodies of water. This was introduced in the Philippines through the ornamental fish trade. This is being referred to as the big bully in the aquarium trade industry because it is very aggressive, highly carnivorous, and lumalaki siya talaga. So malaking threat siya dun sa ibang species. Now, paano siya kumalat dun sa Laguna de Bai? Around Laguna de Bai, meron dyan ng mga ornamental fish breeders. And nung dalawa yung theory, or dalawa yung possibility na tinitingnan namin kung paano siya kumalat dun sa Laguna de Bai. One, yung sa pagtatanong-tanong namin, may konting kwento about meron daw na merit release na nangyari. So when we say merit release, meron certain religious organization na because they believe that if you release a living organism into the environment, magkakaroon ka ng good karma. So yun yung isang kwento. But more likely on our part, we believe na yung knifefish ay nakakawala sa Laguna de Bai because of escapement from aquaculture facilities noong bumaha ng Undoy. So, bakit siya very risky? Because yung kanyang mouth is equipped with razor sharp teeth. It has a bony tongue which is equally sharp. So, kabilang siya doon sa tinatawag na istana Osteoglossiformes or yung bony tongue fish. Actually, there are 3 species na suspected na nandun sa Laguna de Bai, but based dun sa genetic study, ang nandito sa atin is the Chitala ornata. So, earlier makikita nyo, most of the information na inilagay namin is Chitala sp because we're not really very sure which species yung nandun sa lake. Pero now it's confirmed it is Chitala ornata. So, ito yung sinasabi kong pattern of invasion. It was introduced in the Philippines ornamental fish trade, and the introduction, the probable pathway is escapement from culture facilities and of course merit release. Bakit siya na-establish sa lake? Because the lake, the environment of the lake proved to be suitable dun sa species, and ang isang reason also is there is a lack of ecological counterparts. Dun sa natural environment niya, meron siyang natural predator. So check and balance. Kasi dun sa swamplands, like for example ng Malaysia, meron dong arowana which is as aggressive as this knifefish. So nagkakaroon ng check and balance. In the Laguna Lake environment, wala siyang ecological counterpart. So there is a very high vulnerability of the indigenous species. And dahil nga ang nakakawala ay napakarami, nagkaroon ng self-sustaining population, kaya naging invasive ang kanyang status doon sa lake. Knifefish breeds naturally in ponds and open water. Ito is isang malaking problem. The average fecundity is 20,000 eggs per kilogram ng breeder. and the eggs are found attached on the stakes and posts of the fish pens and fish cages. Once hatched, the fry are retained within the confines of the aquaculture structure where they grow and they feed on the fry and fingerlings. Ang isa pang characteristic nito, malalaki yung eggs ng knifefish. You can look at them at the picture there. Malaki yung eggs niya. So the bigger the eggs, the higher would be the rate of survival. Second is yung kanyang fry are very resistant. Even up to the third day, meron pa rin yolk. So yung nourishment is medyo mas mataas. And yung growth rate ng fry is 1 millimeter per day. Isa pang characteristic nila, knifefish are garters. So in terms of yung reproductive yield, when you look at the invasiveness of a species, pag garters yan, mas malaki ang chance nila na maging invasive. So ito yung characteristic niya, the egg hatch, even without aeration. The newly hatched fry has a length of 1.2 cm. The fry can survive in turbid water with low dissolved oxygen. Considering the above characteristic, knifefish fry has a very high chance of survival in the open water. Analysis of the gut content showed remnants of head and tails of small fishes. Ito po yung kinakain niya based dun sa gut analysis. 32.29% yung mga isdang iniistak sa fish pen at saka fish cages, yung mga similya ng bangus, yung similya na tilapia, similya ng bighead. Scales and eyes of other fishes, particularly Arius manilensis. Bakit do we zero in on Arius manilensis? If you look at the photo, makikita ninyo yung otolith, yung parang perlas niya, that's the otolith of the Arius manilensis. So, main diet po rin niya yung ating indigenous na Arius manilensis, 29.41%, and then shrimp, 17.65%, and then we find remnants of some shells, 17.65%. So it is very alarming na nandun siya sa lake kasi talagang ang pagkain niya yung ating indigenous species. We look at the economic valuation. Ito yung economic estimates. The conversion factor is 1:7. So, ibig sabihin ito, for everyone to produce 1 kilogram of knifefish, kakain siya ng 7 kilogram ng ating indigenous species. The average market value of various indigenous species, in-average na natin yan, 150 pesos. Average market price of knifefish is just 20 pesos. Ito na yung high-end. It goes down to 5 pesos pag marami na talaga nahuhuli. So, if you look at the economic valuation, our fisherman is losing 1,030 pesos for every kilogram ng knifefish na nandoon sa lake. The fish is not only a threat to biodiversity, but also the economic operation of the open water, capture fisheries, and even aquaculture in the lake. So, BIFAR, in coordination with other agencies, has designed the projects to intervene on the invasiveness of knifefish. The project aims to assess the environmental and socio-economic impacts of knifefish, develop practical strategy to contain the population, explore its economic utilization, and provide supplemental livelihood to affected fisher folks. So ito po yung mga ginawa namin. To reduce the population of knifefish through intervention in its life cycle and recruitment pattern, increase the retrieval of knifefish by developing its economic utilization as fish feed and value-added products, and provide supplemental source of income to fisher folks in the lake. Initially, we conduct risk or impact assessment. The baseline survey includes key landing areas in Laguna de Bay. Ito po yung mga affected sites for municipalities in Rizal, 2 cities in NCR, and 12 municipalities in 1 city in Laguna. And then we conducted a fishery survey covering 2,519 fisher folk, and this represents 43.67% of the affected fishermen, kasi roughly mga more than 5,000 yan. And lumalabas dun sa survey namin, dun sa mga landing sites, knifefish comprise 40.34% of the catch in the open water at an average combined catch of 3,151.45 kilogram per day of the 8 major fishing gear. Extrapolated, that's 3,151 is for the 43.67%. You look at the 100% of the affected fisher folk plus yung catch sa aquaculture, conservative estimate would be around 10,000 kilogram per day landing na knife fish. So ito yung catch composition. If you look at the catch composition, knife fish is 40.35%. What is alarming here, tilapia, carps, and billfish are aquaculture species. So, intermittently, ini-snap siya sa lake. But look at the indigenous species. You have terrapon, which is indigenous. You have climbing perch. You have bobby. At yung mga indigenous species natin, very alarming kasi you look at them, almost negligible na yung catch. Wala pang 1% of the total catch. So, it shows na nawawala na yung ating indigenous species. And you look at the gut of knife fish, nandoon sila. You find them inside the gut. And then, janitor fish, which is an exotic species before, which threatened the Bullet Bae, medyo hindi na rin siya ganun kasignificant compared to knife fish. Its indicative catch in the Bullet Bae could confirm the invasiveness of the species and its alarming impact on the indigenous species. So, at the major fishing gear, the most effective is long line or kitang, then gillnet. Actually, gillnet and kitang are used parang alternately. Pag malinaw ang tubig, it's easier for the knife fish to see the bait. So, kitang is very effective. Pag malabo ang tubig, hindi makikita yung bait, gillnet is more effective. But again, one alarming point in this table, you still have the motorized drive-in net. That's an illegal fishing gear. Okay, so just, ito, i-antalatin natin. Fast track talaga yung pagpapakita. These are just parang illustration ng knife fish na documentation ng knife fish caught in the Bullet, diba? Yung ginagamit nila is plies. Kasi medyo matalas na. So, pinaplies nila yung isda, yung knife fish, pagka tinatanggal nila doon sa kanilang net. And look at the volume, the number of knife fish na nandun. Halos talaga nag-dominate na yung knife fish doon sa total catch. Next slide, please. So, ito yung mga containment strategies na ginagawa ng Bureau of Fisheries. The BFAR in collaboration with the LLDA, the local government units, and the MPARCs, the mga fisher folk, is undertaking massive collection and retrieval of knife fish. Total of 12 municipalities have executed the BOA with us para dun sa mobilization ng MPARC. Binibili po ng BFAR. Ang BFAR ay nag-transfer ng pera dito sa mga munisipyo na to para yung mga MPARCs na halos wala nang mahuli ay magkaroon ng livelihood. Ang ginagawa namin, yung mahuli nilang knife fish na binili sa kanila, nire-retrieve namin. What do we do? We collected the knife fish and processed them into fish feed, value-added products, and even handicrafts. Fortunately, ang knife fish po ay pwedeng kainin. Pero this does not mean na ini-encourage natin yung culture ng knife fish. Taking it from the mouth of the fisherman, pag hindi natin ito natutong kainin, hindi natin ito uhulihin, hindi natin ito masutugpo. Kaya gumawa kami ng mga paraan upang ito ay maging acceptable sa tao. Before we process them into fish, into value-added products, isinabit namin siya for laboratory analysis, yung residue analysis. And lumalabas naman na wala naman siyang contaminants, wala siyang residue because it's carnivorous. So, safe siya for human consumption. So, pinrocess namin siya into value-added products and para din magamit siya in aquaculture, we are using knife fish as trust fish for the culture of high-value species like, for example, paliputo, sea bass, grouper, and also processed into fish meal for organic aquaculture. Siguro later on, we'll have a piece on the different value-added products coming from live fish. And these value-added products are now being promoted as alternative livelihood to the wives of the fisher folk. Samples of live fish are submitted to taxonomic verification, kaya nga nalaman namin that this is Chitala ornata, residue analysis, and proximate analysis. Okay, next, please. We also look into some biochemical control. We conducted salinity tolerance tests para gamit yung natural ecology ng Laguna de Bai. Laguna de Bai is this experience salt intrusion. Pumapasok yung tubig alat, pag bumaba ang level ng Laguna de Bai at tumaas ang Manila Bay, pumapasok yung tubig alat. And salinity goes as high as on the average 5 ppt. We tried to explore that, but unfortunately, to sa salinity tolerance test na pinodap namin, ang lethal level is 12 ppt for knife fish to be exterminated. So this is higher than the tolerance level of some of our indigenous species. So this ruled out the increasing salinity as a control measure. However, based on the information we got from the fisher folk, ang pagpasok ng tubig alat, itinataboy yung knife fish away from dun sa source ng tubig alat. So, pag pumasok ng tubig alat, which is on the area of the West Bay, pumupunta yung knife fish dun sa Central Bay. Okay. And then, intervention in the life cycle, siguro dito magiging magandang input yung study na ginawa na sinasabi kanina. First, we try to bury the eggs. Ito yung sinasabi kasi ng fisher folk na madaling paraan. Kasi knife fish excavate yung bottom of the pollen stake, and then they lay their eggs at least mga 1 meter below. So if you bury the eggs, mas madali daw. Then burying the eggs result to 100% extermination of the eggs. Hindi siya talaga nahahatch. And then we subjected the fish to electrocution. Pero ang ginamit namin ditong gadget is just a regular gadget na ginagamit ng mga fishermen. So subjecting the knife fish egg to 12 volts for 60 seconds at 2 inches electron distance reduce the hatching rate only by 17%. Ang nakita namin problema dito would be more on the yung ginamit na electrode kasi straight siya, yung knife fish egg, patilo. So we're looking more on the terminal. How to design the terminal na para pumasok dun para maging very effective siya. Now, we're doing this under controlled condition, one, because we want to see the selectivity of the gear, of the method. Kasi, we have to remember na hindi lang knife fish yung nandun sa lake. Meron pang ibang species doon. So, we also have to consider ano ang magiging impact ng ginagawa namin na intervention doon sa other species na nandoon sa lake. So, there was also an interagency technical working group na na-create para ma-pool yung mga resources ng different government agencies para doon sa pag-control ng knife fish. So, ito po yung mga agencies na kabilang dyan, DNR, LLDA, DILG, DAB, PAR, DSWD, DTI, DOST, TESDA, and FarmCNN. We also embarked on a massive information education campaign. So there were information materials that were produced to create awareness among citizens because yung lack of awareness nila, yun ang nagiging malaking dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng inadvertent contribution to the spread of alien invasive species kasi hindi nila alam na yung simpleng pagtatapon lamang ng kanilang inaalagaan ornamental fish doon sa natural bodies of water kasi naaawa sila, ayaw nilang patayin, can be the start of an invasion. So, in last June 14, there was a National Forum on the Containment of Knife Fish, and this was attended by different sectors na affected ng knife fish. Now, we are doing containment. What's next? We want to contain knife fish because we want to prevent, not only to eliminate it sa Laguna de Bay, but we want to prevent the introduction of knife fish to other inland bodies of water. Kaya very, very critical kami doon sa mga studies na ipupunta because yung disposal ng kanilang subject to organism ay gusto namin na masiguro na hindi siya makakawala dun sa other bodies of water. Now, we are dealing with large-scale infestation in Laguna de Bay. God knows, dapat hindi magkaroon ng widespread infestation na kakalat pa yan dun sa ibang inland bodies of water natin. Kasi ang knife fish ay it's very aggressive. Yung janitor fish, we have to learn from the lesson of janitor fish. Janitor fish started in Laguna de Bay. Now, even in Pulangi Reservoir in Mindanao, even in Liguasan Mars, meron na rin pong janitor fish. Pag ang knife fish ang nakawala ng ganito, malaking problema natin. So, natitingnan natin yung different pathways of introduction. Aquaculture. Hindi natin ini-encourage ang culture ng knife fish. Deliberate stocking for biological control or stock enhancement. Isang tinitingnan namin dito siguro, we should be very careful about moving out live specimen from Laguna de Bay because baka meron silang number 5, hitchhikers. Ornamental fish escapement from holding facilities and release of hobbyists, cultural or merit release, hitchhiking, live bait for disposal, and yung mga ballast water. Of course, wala na masyadong problema sa ballast water kasi fresh water naman itong pinoprotektahan natin. We're now keen on quarantine. Transport filters for propagules, yung fish eggs, and larvae can serve as propagules and are more abundant than adults. May mga legal measures talaga to control yung pag-i-introduce ng invasive alien species. Meron tayong Wildlife Act, yung ating RAA 550 ay yung Fisheries Code, FAO 214, this is on good aquaculture practices, and FAO 221, this is more on the importation of live organism. There are also now policy on the regulation of these pathways. Actually, we're cleaning the list of species na pwedeng import, and we're maximizing agency collaboration, network to build a rapid response plan, technology, logistics, and financial resource sharing. Importante rin yung stakeholders coordination, kaya we're always in touch with the FRC, and awareness raising. We look at the hotspots, the critical vectors, and of course the target audience. So, yun po yung ginagawa ng different ng BIFAR in partnership with other agencies doon po sa pagsugpo ng knife fish. At malaki pong input yung participation ng mga estudyante, ng mga ibang researchers, aside from the national government agencies, para makadevelop tayo talaga ng alternative na strategies for the control of knife fish. Good morning.